Okay, hello, welcome back. I'm Isabella Demarko. I used to make videos about hair care and then I had a quarter-life crisis and moved my life to Bali, which is where I am currently living. This is not where I'm living. I'm staying in this gorgeous villa for about a week with some friends. We are working on some projects here. If you are wondering where I have been, I've been posting a lot more on my second channel, which I haven't spoken about very much, just to start making different kinds of content that's not related to hair care. It's currently going by the name of Isabella Demarko 2.0. Leave your suggestions below. I don't know what to call it. There I've been posting Bali vlogs, how I moved to Bali, updates on what's going on with my life. Go check out that channel because I'm posting on there a lot more frequently than I am here. Alas, I am back because people have been asking what has happened to my hair since moving to Bali, because if you know anything about Southeast Asia or Bali, you know that the water is particularly bad. It has a lot of chemicals, a lot of just shit. It's very hard water, so it's a lot of stuff that builds up on your hair. People have lost a lot of hair. People experience a lot of hair breakage, just dullness, dryness. So yes, ironically, this is one of the best hair days I have had in a really long time. I did the heatless curls last night and surprisingly, they haven't dropped because the humidity in Bali, it's been rainy season and it's very hot. It gets very sweaty. Your hair gets very frizzy very quickly. I've kind of just been letting my hair be. I have been here now just over 4 months. Yes, my hair has suffered. I'm not gonna lie. I have been slacking a little bit with the hair care because I've just been having an absolute whirlwind of a time. I can't even begin to explain what an amazing time I'm having. If you don't know already, I have a very dry hair type, so it's very hard to take care of it even in normal conditions. It's very fragile and I have a mix of thick and thin hair strands, a mix of ginger and blonde. And I've always struggled with my hair, also wavy, so it frizzes up quite a bit. I'm also going to share the hair measurements at the end of the video. Not only is the water here in Bali really bad for your hair, but just the general lifestyle. It's going in the ocean a lot, going in pools a lot, going on scooter rides. You wouldn't believe how tangly your hair gets. Also just going out a lot, just being outdoors, the UV as well, the sun, being on the beach, the sea air, the sort of activities that you get up to in Bali, partying a lot, going out, seems to not be a great place for your hair. And I knew that coming into it, and you know what, it's a sacrifice I was willing to make because I've had the best time ever, and it's only just the beginning. What does my hair care routine look like since I've been in Bali? Okay, first things first, I had to come to Bali with a water filter. I bought myself one from Amazon. I'm gonna link it below. It's just a bog standard. They're all pretty much the same, and they last between like 3 and 4 months. So this will filter out some of the impurities. I have to be honest, I don't think it filters out everything, but I'm sure it's better than nothing. The second thing I've been doing is I came to Bali with a shampoo and conditioner specifically for hard water. I'm using the Malibu one. It also came with these sachets that are super clarifying to sort of strip your hair of any junk and crunk and crap that ends up on your hair from the water. So I've been using one of these sachets about once a month, but I don't really like using them. I feel like I don't like how it feels on my hair and it feels so stripping to my hair, but it is technically good for your hair because it's getting rid of the junk. I don't know, maybe it's just in my head because it feels weird. It just feels like you shouldn't be putting it on your hair, but it's these little crystals, you mix it with water and then you just rub it all over into your hair. The reason actually I still have it after 4 months, you would think I would have got through it already, but it's because I actually switch. I switch from this one to normal ones, then sometimes I do a mask. So I've been kind of conservative with this because I know that I can't buy it out here. Also because it's clarifying, it's fairly stripping and my hair is very dry, every 3 washes maybe. And when I'm not using that, I've just been honestly using bog standard stuff that I find in the shops. Probably not the best. This LV one, I actually do not like. The conditioner has not been doing anything for me. Third thing I've been doing is using hair masks, and admittedly, haven't been using them as much as I should be. But anyway, so there's these awesome hair masks called Hair Energy out here. There's loads of different types that you can get, and they're kind of like a cream bath. You can like massage it into your scalp. It's for your scalp and your hair. You should be using it at least once a week, honestly. They really help my hair when it's feeling like straw, like crap. So the fourth thing is obviously going to hair salons and getting specialized treatments. It is a little bit cheaper than normal prices back home, but not by much. For my birthday, I got a K18 treatment. Now this is a little bit I don't know, because K18 is obviously keratin treatment. It's a little bit like Olaplex, where it's fixing the bonds in your hair to try and fix and prevent more breakage, right? K18 can leave your hair feeling a little bit worse than it was before, because it's almost like the keratin is so strong. It almost like makes your hair stronger, but it can also feel drier because of that. This was an absolute disaster, by the way. I walked out of that salon and I was so upset. I got the worst blowout of my life, except for that one. I got that one time. They'll put the video somewhere. I went back, they sorted it out for me. But yeah, I knew as he started blow drying my hair that it was not right. He didn't have the right brush. He didn't have the right hairdryer. The hairdryer had no freaking nozzle on it. It had no like straightening nozzle on it for like a sleek finish. It was like a wooden round brush with like, it wasn't a metal one. Obviously you need the metal to conduct the heat, right? And the holes in it to like for the airflow to go through. This guy, I cannot believe I didn't say anything, but I felt like I didn't want to offend him. Like he was kind of an older guy. He looked like he was a professional, but the way he was doing my hair, I just knew it wasn't right. And he was using like a really warm heat. It wasn't hot. And I could tell as he was blow drying it, I was like, I know what this is going to turn out like. It's going to be a frizzy, puffy frizz ball. It is not going to last. After it was done, he kept like fluffing it out and I was like, oh my God, please stop, please stop. I actually had to tell him to like, please can you stop? Because this isn't right. And when I got home, it looked like crap. I think I deleted most of the photos of it, and so I went back. They gave me the next day, for the morning of my birthday, they gave me a deep conditioning treatment, and then they curled my hair for me for free. This is what they looked like when I was at the salon. It only about half an hour later, they looked like this, like they were gone. But at least my hair still felt a lot better after this. I want to try and get my hands on some Olaplex, but it's actually kind of hard to get out here. You have to, I think you can buy it from salons, but you can't just find it in normal shops. It's also quite hard to get things delivered to Bali, which I'm finding a little bit of a struggle. I have no permanent address, so I don't know where to get things sent to. I've heard many stories of things just going missing or never turning up, and also having to pay a lot of taxes for things that get sent here. But I'm sure it works for some people, but yeah, I've just not got my head around it just yet. Fifth thing I've been doing is I never put my hair in chlorine. There's maybe been like 2 times where I let my hair down and I let myself just be, because you know, I'm not going to be that uptight all the time. I've also got to have fun with my life. Like 99% of the time I get in the pool, my hair is up. I am not putting my hair in that pool water, especially in hostels, because pool water in hostels, you don't know what the heck is in that water. Like, it's dirty. Some of the hostels I've been to, the pool water looks green. Like, it looks disgusting. Would not recommend. If you're blonde, the pool water can start to make your hair go a bit green. I've heard a few stories from blondes that their hair started going green. You can get it sorted out at some salons. They offer specific treatments to get rid of chlorine green hair. For seawater, if I'm going in the sea, most of the time I'll try and put my hair up, but again, sometimes I do just want to swim. I just want to be one with nature. I just want to let my hair down and like be fully in the water. So yes, sometimes I do get my hair wet in the sea, but if I can avoid it, I will try to, because the salt is very drying for your hair, and it makes your hair kind of sticky and textured, which is great for some looks, but again, as a person with dry hair, it's kind of not great to do all the time. So if I do get my hair wet from the sea or from a pool, I will try to rinse it as soon as I possibly can. I don't want that sitting in my hair for the whole day. Scooter rides. If I am on a scooter or a bike, always I try to put my hair up. You would not believe, like, my hair has not gotten this tangly since I was a child. When you're on the bikes, the air going through, there's a lot of pollution, a lot of dust in the air, obviously the sun, and just your hair's just getting whipped around everywhere. There's like sweat on your back, there's sun cream on your shoulders, like your hair's just going through it. So I always have a little claspy grasp. I put my hair up whenever I'm on a bike. Sometimes also with helmets, wearing helmets. If the helmet is particularly gross, sometimes I try and keep a headscarf with me, and I'll put the headscarf on first. I'll usually just put my hair like this and like just below the helmet so that it doesn't hurt my hair. And this is the same thing for going out partying, whenever I'm going out, actually anywhere, I keep a little flower hair clip clipped onto my handbag at all times. Not only to protect my hair, but also it gets so hot and sweaty, especially going out to bars, to clubs, anywhere where we're dancing, anywhere where there's a lot of people and a lot of bodies. Like, your hair is just like friction, it's moving against other people dancing, it's being whipped around, it's being blown around by the fans that are going on, the aircon. Your hair just goes through it on a night out. Throughout the night, I'll just like put my hair up, then if I want to look cute, I'll take it down again, then I'll put it up again. Now, in terms of styling, I have just been letting my hair be. I've been working on just kind of letting my hair be free. Back a couple years ago, my aesthetic was more, I wanted to be more polished. I wanted to be polished so bad. Now I'm embracing just being a little bit more free and wild and like going with the flow. And also the Bali lifestyle in general, it's so go with the flow. It's so normal to see just messy long hair that's not styled. Obviously there are a lot of very polished people here, but it's also just so normal just to see like beachy messy hair, and I love it. So I've been letting my hair be natural. I haven't even been using curl gels. Sometimes I do give it a little scrunch in the shower, but I always let it air dry. I don't really use a hairdryer. I think I used a hairdryer the other day for the first time since I've been here, honestly, just because I don't like to sleep with wet hair. If I'm gonna wash my hair, I'll usually do it at the beginning of the day so that it can dry throughout the day. That's one thing that I couldn't do in England. I would have to blow dry it because it's cold usually and it takes a long time for your hair to air dry. I also have been using this bond repair serum most times after I shower, and then I also have been sticking with my leave-in conditioner as well. So I'm almost out of this. I've also been using my hair oil. Now, I've been using this almost every couple of days for the whole time I've been here, but I found out recently from a hairstylist, he told me don't ever use hair oil on your hair in a climate like this, and it made so much sense. But I was set in my ways of always using a hair oil. It's like putting oil on your skin and then going in the sun. It's going to fry your skin. Essentially, I'm just giving my hair more heat damage and UV damage from the sun by putting oil on it every day. So I've stopped with the oil. If I do use an oil, I'll put it on before bed so that it has time to soak into my hair and it's not just like going straight into the sun and getting the UV rays and frying my hair, basically. I think I'm gonna have to try and find some kind of serum or UV serum to wear out here because I just did not put two and two together because I'm stupid. It's a big no-no to hair oils. For going to bed, usually sometimes I put my hair in a braid or sometimes I just a low pony like this. Last night was the first time I've done heatless curls since I've been here, pretty much. I've tried it a few times with the blowout rods, but actually I think I might get rid of the blowout rods. I just can't seem to make them work for me. Other night I did like the Princess Leia things at the sides of my head and it came out and it just didn't last at all. These robe curls I did them with a scarf, a silk scarf. They've stayed in and it's been hours. I think I've also been slightly more healthy since I've been here. I eat a bigger range of fruits for sure. I drink a lot of coconuts. I try to stay hydrated. I've been eating a lot more salmon and fish because the food out here in restaurants is so much cheaper. So I get my favorite food, which is sushi, and obviously fruits that I've never tried before. I'm getting a wider range of vitamins, smoothies, mangoes, dragon fruit, all kinds of strange and delicious things here. That's obviously been very good for my hair, skin and nails. I'm currently actually wearing fake tan as we speak, but this is the first time I've put fake tan on since I've been here. I've actually been embracing my pale skin. I did get a little bit of color, but I just felt like being a little tanned girl. So I put my tan on a couple nights ago and I'm actually really enjoying it. I miss being tanned. In case anyone's wondering, why don't you just tan naturally? Darling, I can't. I've been here 4 months. If I was going to get a tan by now, I would have got one. I do make an effort to look after my skin. I wear sun cream pretty much every single day. I stay in the shade when I can. I have a UV umbrella. I cover up if I know I'm going to be in the sun for a long time. I don't lay out in the sun to tan. And the reason being because my skin is, I'm fair and I'm ginger and I'm from the UK. My skin is very sensitive to the sun. It doesn't tan easily, it burns. And also even if it does get a bit of color, it takes much longer time. So I have to build up my tan very, very, very slowly. Some people, they can spend a week in a hot country, they'll be brown. For me, it just takes a longer time. I am very conscious about skin health and wrinkles as well, aging, la 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 la. So I'm just trying to take extra special care of my skin because I do have more sensitive skin. But my freckles have all come out. I've even got freckly hands now. So it's a whole look, a whole vibe. One of the things that I've really been enjoying is just not caring so deeply about my hair anymore. I kind of want to make a video about this, but I went through a lot of my hair. Me and my hair, we had a very difficult and complicated relationship, and I've been working on rebuilding my relationship with my hair and also just not obsessing over it so much. I think I spent so many years obsessing over every detail of my hair and just getting so frustrated that it wasn't the way that I wanted it to be. And now I'm kind of just letting her be who she is, you know? I'm trying to help her where I can, but if she wants to be dry and frizzy, I just allow it. I don't let my hair determine how beautiful I feel anymore. Sometimes, obviously, I'm having a really bad hair day and, you know, she needs to be washed and defrizzed a little bit, but still try to appreciate the beauty of my hair and my genetics and the fact that it's grown from my body, and she's doing the best she can. So, and yes, I am still trying to grow her longer, but I'm also not obsessing over it. I'm knowing that it's probably going to take a lot longer now that I'm here. It's going to break a lot more, but I've kind of just made peace with it. I have to admit, it does feel a bit thinner since when I moved here. I do think I've lost a little bit more hair than usual. I have been trying to use my Neoxin, but I've pretty much run out of it. So I was using it a lot when I first came here. I can't buy any more until I have a permanent address. But yeah, so I'm going to leave that below. It worked really well for me. It's a scalp spray. I found that it helped my hair grow kind of fast. What I want to work on with my hair is just being more consistent with treatments. So I'm going to try to get my hands on some Olaplex if I can. I might have to buy it from a salon. And I also just treating myself to more salon treatments, like deep conditioning treatments. So what does my hair actually look like at the moment and how has it changed? Well, this is what it looks like. It's still drier than ever. In fact, obviously more dry than it was. It has really taken a downfall. It's full of split ends, absolutely chock-a-block full of split ends. I did try to go through and do a dusting session before I came to Bali, where I went through my hair in little sections and I tried to cut off as many split ends as I could, and it took forever. I've also experienced a lot of hair fall just recently, not throughout the whole time, but just in the last couple of weeks I've lost a lot of density. Yeah, my hair is definitely suffering, but honestly it doesn't look a whole lot different than it always has. It's always kind of behaved and looked this way, so what can you do, eh? Even if it's ruining my hair, I wouldn't change living in Bali for the world. So before I came to Bali, my hair measured 29.5 inches from the back. I thought it would be good to start my new life with some fresh hair, so I got a trim down to 28.5 inches. I moved here in November, and then in January I got my first trim, which I should have probably got a trim a bit sooner than that. So 3 months in and my hair was now at 29.8. It was just over 29 and a half. So it grew just over an inch in 3 months. It's kind of normal for my hair. So then I got it cut again. I got a trim just before my birthday, and it's back to 28.5. Now, it was about a month ago, so my hair is, I haven't measured it, but I'm gonna add the up-to-date measurements in now. Okay, so you can't really tell from this footage because my hair is not completely straight here, but I did get my friend Jay to check, and he confirmed that it reaches 29 inches.
So it's about 29.
29?
Well, it is 29.
So my hair's grown half an inch in a month. We're on track. I am debating whether to come back to this channel or not. If you've been here already before, please let me know what kind of videos you would want to see here on this channel. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? What do you want to see? What is it that you're missing? Because I'm having a little bit of a crisis. I don't know what to do with this channel anymore. I don't know whether to continue it. So let me know your thoughts. Anyway, if you liked the video, give it a like. If you want to see what I'm up to on a regular basis, follow my Instagram. Bye. Mwah.